Yes, people, welcome back to the 1894 podcast. I'm Hugh, and I've got Dara here with me, as always, for this Borussia Mönchengladbach versus City review. A 2-0 win in the Champions League. What a great start to the knockout phase of this tournament. We knew it would be a tough game. We knew Borussia Dortmund, Mönchengladbach would sit back a bit deeper, and we would have most of the ball. But nevertheless, we did break them down through a few masterclasses from individual players. It was by no means the best performance we've seen from City all season, but through the quality of certain individuals who we look towards most weeks for a performance, it happened. We got our goals, and now we bring a 2 away goal lead back to the Etihad, which is oh so priceless because Gladbach will have to score 3 now if they want to knock us out. And I personally do not see that happening because they had very minimal chances tonight. Anyways, let's break this one down, Dar. What were your thoughts on the game this evening?
Yeah, everyone put in a shift, but there wasn't really, a bar one or two, there wasn't anyone outstanding, but we got the job done. We can go back now to the Etihad with a 2-goal cushion. I think we're all but through, aren't we?
I think so too. You know what? For a change, I'm going to put our player ratings up on screen now because I think it's worth pointing out that some of them are maybe a bit lower than usual. And I also want to point out that these player ratings are no longer just voted for by us. We have opened up a 1894 podcast Discord server, completely free to join. It's got a bit of a cap on it, so it doesn't ever get too big, but I can't imagine the demand will be too high. So we've got some members in there now already who help us decide the player ratings. So do not put all the heat in us if you don't like the ratings. But feel free to join. We're going to leave a link in the description below, and you can come in and week in, week out, you can help us with the ratings, and we'd love to hear what you think. Anyway, yes, it was. We got the job done. Let's talk about some of the players we thought were the reason we got the job done. And I think Cancelo it's fair to say, was the main man. He pulled the strings. He was up and down that wing. He was doing well, and his delivery from the crosses was the reason we effectively won, wasn't it? He set up Bernardo's goal. The small men recently getting headers. Sterling against Arsenal, Bernardo against Gladbach. You know, it's like a new world. Small lads are beating big lads. What did you think of Bernardo's goal? I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it gives an argument to actually playing Cancelo inverted, like the way he was playing today, cutting inside. But yeah, it was a great cross. They completely fell asleep out of the defence, didn't they? I think they didn't expect Bernardo to get in the end of it or expect him to do anything if he did. So, you know, I mean, it was a great goal. He done very well to get into the position, regardless if they were picking up on him or not.
Yeah, they were probably a bit sleepy at times, the Gladbach defense, and we said it in our preview. They're quite lucky almost to be in this stage of the competition because, like I said, they're by no means a top team in Europe, and I was never expecting them to really come out and go at us. And they had 1 or 2 chances themselves. If you remember the first half, they probably should have scored a goal in all fairness when it was still 0-0. And they got the ball down the right wing, and Kyle Walker made a fantastic block, I suppose you could call it, to stop the ball that was being sent into the box. Getting to the striker. The striker, maybe had he made a better run, he would have had a clear shot on goal, but it wasn't to be. What did you think of our defense overall tonight? I thought they were good. Obviously, when you don't concede, it's always a good performance. But do you think it could have been better?
Definitely, yeah. But I mean, I think Laporte put in a better performance as usual. Walker put in a better performance as he usually does. But we still looked a bit shaky, especially at the very end. We looked very shaky. But that chance that you mentioned, the one at the end, I think there was one in between where play, isn't it? He got his he tried doing a scorpion kick or something. It just about went wide. Had my heart in my mouth at that time. I think Rodri had a bit of an error before that. But I thought we looked solid enough, but not nearly as solid as we usually do.
Yeah, it would have been a bad time to concede as well with that kind of scorpion attempt, I suppose you could call it, that you're talking about, because if they scored one goal and then brought it as 2-1 back to the Etihad for the second leg, it's a completely different game back in Manchester. They've got all to play for, and they'll put us under pressure in a way that we possibly haven't been under pressure for a long time, because teams in the Premier League, they don't really expect to beat us, and they're kind of happy to concede possession, like I've said before. But if Gladbach were 2-1 down and knew if they scored a goal, it's really game on, they'd come out and go full throttle, nothing to lose, balls to the wall, and go for the goal. But let's talk about City's second goal. It was similar build-up play to the first one, but Jesus, who I want to spend a bit of time talking about on this review, he got the goal. He stabbed it in from 3 yards out, which is what you expect from a number 9. If you're playing striker, that's what you got to do. You can't be dropping deep and trying to pick ball up deep and get involved in the build-up play. You leave that to the midfielders. But anyway, let's talk about his goal. What did you think about, first of all, the goal, and then talk about his overall performance?
Good build-up. It was a good finish. He done well to get in ahead of Ginter, but again, I think it was between Alvedi and the left back, I think Ben Sebaini, isn't it? Them two were kind of both asleep on that side, which actually let Bernardo get in again. But it was a good finish to get in. But I mean, he wasn't great for the rest of the game. He had that chance. He had that chance where he nicked the ball off and didn't shoot. That was dreadful. Like,
Oh man, I remember
that
that
was
man. I was really quite fuming because it's not as if that was a one-off from Jesus. We see that from Jesus week in and week out. And while Aguero's been injured, and we'll talk a little bit about him as well in a few minutes. While he's been injured, it's not Jesus that's been pulling us through the trenches. It's been our midfield and our wingers, which it speaks volumes for the midfielders and the wingers. But it doesn't reflect well on Jesus. He does get the odd goal here and there, like he did tonight. But I'm sorry, when a top striker playing for a top team like City needs 4 or 5 chances to score a goal, I don't think he's the one, and I could definitely see him being sold in the summer. I might be a bit controversial on that, but I just don't think he's City standard, and he's not someone to replace Aguero in the future. Listen, he got his goal tonight. It's an away goal in Europe, and it's definitely something we're happy to get. You know, we'll take every goal we can in this competition. But I definitely agree with you on that front. There was a penalty shout as well at some stage during the game. Sterling was involved in that. What do you want to talk us through that a little bit?
Yeah, Sterling beat 1 or 2 men, and then Bentabane not cut him down, but he made a tackle. It went out off Bentabane. He still gave a goal kick, but I don't know. I think he definitely made contact with Sterling, but it wasn't like, I don't know if it was enough to get down. If I'm honest, what did you think of it?
See, if it's not a penalty, it's not a penalty. Fair enough. And as you said, it went off Ben Sabani, whatever his name was, and should have been a corner kick, but was given as a goal kick. But what bothers me the most in this situation is when you have technology like VAR at your disposal, and it's used so much in depth every week now. Show us more angles. Show the people at home what the referee's seeing and why he feels it's not a penalty. Show us everything. If it's a good tackle, show us that, because a good tackle in the box is worth showing. If it's a penalty, we'll see it, and then we'll get to be able to say it should have been a penalty. And what bothers me is with the technology we have installed now and at our disposal every week, we should be given clear and definite reasoning behind why a certain decision was made. And so, maybe that's something to think about. Yeah, well, I don't know about mic them up. I think we hear some pretty bad language, but listen,
no, mic them up for when they need it, man. To be honest, like that's. Like, they obviously have clarity because they're going between referees, but we have no clarity about what's going on. Like, the commentators have to take their guess, you know what I mean? And most of the time they end up getting around because they don't even see what the referees saw. I mean, you've seen that in a few Champions League games since the restart, to be honest with you, even the one last night.
Yeah, well, look, it's a bit of an annoying one, and I suppose you just have to take on the chin. I'm not going to sit here and shout penalty if it's not a penalty. You know, it's not my nature.
Yeah, it's contentious. I didn't know if it was a penalty or not.
I guess we still don't. That's what I said. But my argument is, if they showed us more angles, we'd be able to give you people watching us now a better answer. But we just can't. But anyway, that's going to annoy me a little bit because it's one of those things in football that bothers me a little bit is the use of VAR and how well they use it. But let's up the mood a little bit. Let's talk about something that we've been waiting to talk about for weeks. And it's the return of the king. It's Aguero. He's back. The main man. He was involved in 3 matchday squads over the last few weeks. And he was brought to Budapest tonight. And the word was before the game via Twitter, he's 100% fit. He will feature in some shape or form. We don't know if it'll be a start or a substitution, but he's back. And he looks wham. He looks like he's been smashed in the gym, keeping lean.
Yeah.
He's built like a gaff, man. He's huge. And he got on the ball once. And he kind of ran down the wing. And he was looking fast. What is he, 32, 33 now? And he's looking rapid. He could be a huge asset to us now because we know, there's no doubt, and I don't think either me or you or any City fan or any of you watching at home, that Aguero is a clinical finisher far more than Jesus. He's streets ahead of Jesus when it comes to finishing. So how important do you think Aguero is going to be for the run-in the Premier League that we have left, and of course the Champions League?
See, the run-in, it's gonna be like 18, 19 again. Like, we're gonna have all the games. We're gonna need people. We're gonna need world-class backup like we have in most positions, and we're gonna need those backups to be able to perform, which is why the introduction was so crucial. Like, I think I've made a few jokes about how he could actually be dead. You know what I mean? Just
such an awful joke.
He could be dead. Like, we had no proof as if he was alive.
No, because he was busy on Twitch streaming. You knew he wasn't dead.
Yeah.
He was busy throwing FIFA or PlayStation remotes out the window. But listen, he's back. He's back. Yeah. He's clinical, and he's going to be hopefully a huge part. Hopefully we see him against West Ham this weekend. Maybe he'll get a run out in that. We'll do a preview for that. I hope so. I hope so. Why not? Throw him in. We'll do a preview for that, and we'll talk a bit more about Aguero's possibility of playing that game in that. We're gonna wrap up this video here anyway. Now I think we've covered all the main talking points in this game. It was a comprehensive 2-0 win. You know, we go back to the next leg with that bit of comfort and hopefully see it out and march on to the next round. We've got a preview for the West Ham game coming out the day before. And be sure to watch that. Leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here. It's growing. The channel's ever growing. And of course, like I said at the start of the video, if you want to join our Discord and have a chat with us, we just talk about City all day, and you can have your say on the player ratings after each game. So yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.